Like there's a desert here, and I think there is 3 or 4 things you need in this desert. Obviously, it's best if you do them all in one go. But the sheer fact that like you might need to go through this section multiple times in your adventure is upsetting. It's on multiple levels. Particularly for items that you don't know you need yet as well, which I think is probably what you're referring to there as well.
Yeah, do we ever find out what we need in the desert? Like we're gonna get there because we're just plowing through this motherfucker.
The hot sun and choking sands are taking their toll on
I don't think we
Graham.
actually have
He
a
must
need for
drink,
anything just yet. Like
and
there's 1 or 2
soon.
areas I didn't go to in the forest, and I think there's especially the dark part of the forest is items that we need in the desert anyway. But again, we wouldn't have known that even if we went to the desert, you know, kind of way,
The hot
or
sun
in
and
the
choking
forest.
sands are
Forest, I mean.
taking their toll on Graham. He must drink, and soon.
So of course, since we're at the desert, we can only go a certain point before we start dying of thirst. So we need to find
Mm-hmm.
water, and thus is the puzzle of this game. Speaking of drinking, what are you drinking tonight, Neil, to wash away the pain of Sierra?
I'm on the Bombay Sapphire Gin, and I picked up a few tins of very neat raspberry tonic.
Ooh,
Pretty good,
let me.
actually. Very, very good.
Yeah, good. I had a
I was on
bottle of.
cider, but I've run out.
I've currently had a bottle of Legacy cider, which is quite strong and quite sweet at the same. Well, it's surprisingly sweet and medium, but it's almost like a cloudy cider, and yeah, it's nice for just for 4%. You know.
Oh,
Oh, that's the music. That's the
Too
dehydration
late.
music.
Graham collapses and dies of extreme thirst in the hot desert sun. If only he could have found an oasis. Dying for a drink, Graham?
Oh, that his dehydration animation is like, oh, I've left the iron on. No. So alas, we will now navigate through the desert with medium success as I top up my drink. In terms of reviews, Neil, what reviews have you got coming up on the channel?
oh, I've uploaded a cute little game called Islets or Islets, whichever way. It's the name for a small island.
Yep.
Um, yeah, that's a really, really good game. It's made by the same guy who made what other game? It was just made by one guy. Like when you see it, like you're gonna go, holy fuck! Like this guy's some kind of fucking weird sorcerer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, really good. Who the fuck? The guy's name is Kyle Thompson, and I also don't remember what the fuck the other
That's not the
game he
Undertale
made.
guy, is it?
Huh?
That's not the Undertale guy, is it?
No, no. What other game did he make? He made one other game. Oh, wank biscuits. Something to do with sheep.
Sheepo.
Sheepo, yes.
Sheepo. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who made Sheepo. Really, really good. Very, very good game in it. Very quirky, hilarious characters, especially the tour guide in it who constantly lures people to their deaths. Um,
Love it.
and whose name changes throughout the game as he gets more and more suspect to
The hot sun and
oh,
choking
found an
sands are
oasis.
taking their toll on
Pints.
Graham. He must drink, and soon.
Neil, we
Yeah.
found the pint hole.
Yeah, he starts off with the name Totally
A
Normal
small
Tour
oasis.
Guide.
It's
And it
tantalizing water.
gradually
sparkling in
changes
the
to
desert
like
sun.
very suspicious
Graham's
tour
hot,
guide.
thirsty body is
And
irresistibly drawn
he
to
is
it.
really one of the best characters I've encountered in a long time.
Good.
He's so hilarious. Even as he's constantly trying to have you killed. Really good. Very, very good. I describe it as Hollow Knight, but with cats and mice instead of depression.
So not so hot. Slightly fuller nights. Slightly sleepy nights.
Slightly more wholesome nights, but it's not wholesome in a real satyrian, idiotic kind of way. It's actually really, really fucking well done. It's a really good Metroidvania game.
Life-giving water.
Wonderful way to play.
Nectar of the gods.
Wonderful to play.
Graham can
Really,
now
really
feel
good.
Strength and renewal flowing through him.
Oh, we can look forward to that review when it comes out.
Mm-mm-mm.
So now that we've got an oasis, which is going to walk through, by the way, just to conquer nature one step at a time. So essentially, you get like 4 or 5, perhaps even 6 areas before you start dying of thirst. So you basically just like serve there's like 2 or 3 oases, or 4 actually oases in the desert.
It's one of those kind of sessions. It's one of those kind of sections where you actually have to kind of make up your own map of the thing. It's possible to map this out.
Look, it's not massively big either. It's a 4x4 grid essentially, 5x5 I think it is.
But there is some aspects of it that are like they are endless. And if you go past, was it this southeast corner or something like that, you'll just get killed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you go too far in near what is going to be a bandits camp, then yes, you would. So now we simply wait. Walking on endless sand, hoping not to die of thirst. I love as well, like, again, because I'm following the walkthrough, we actually have no narrative reason to be in the desert yet. We just said King Rain just went, do you know what? I'm just gonna walk in the desert and just hope that the fates will decide if I live or die.
Oh.
Uh-huh. So yes, now we have a temple to go to.
From across the desert sands, Graham can hear the sound of approaching hoofbeat.
Hoofbeat? And then my cursor betrays me.
Get him!
Dead.
Never trust a bad guy, Graham.
All Muslims are bad, Graham.
Jesus.
Ah, crikey. So yes, that was a kick in the tits. Yes, this is a wonderful way to spend an afternoon, isn't it? Just walking through the desert, deciding if you're going to die or not.
With this game, you could literally spend an entire afternoon going through this fucking desert.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Just going my oasis away. I'm going from like point to point drinking water. It's hilarious. I mean, at this point, I would, ask you thoughts on how the football is going, but there is no football now. So
yes, there is no football now. They might be playing the Europa League games this weekend.
Apparently they're going ahead. Yes.
Yes.
But the home ties might not be being played at home. So, but of course, by the time this comes out, they will have probably made that decision. So this is all irrelevant. Irrelevant. If Sierra was a football team, Neil, how would it look like? What would happen? What would be the calamity?
Oh, it'd be terrible. It would be awful. It would be basically Barcelona, you know. At one point they're being the best around, but just being so hilariously badly run to the point where it was killed, you know. And everybody seems to really like, for some weird reason, the people that killed it.
So sign Roberto Williams.
Not even that, no. It's the fucking venture capitalists that took over the board and basically tried to sell it off. Opinion on that Vice article, it's really Waypoint, it's their game section.
Yeah.
But it's really long, really in depth, and really fucking good. But it just goes right into like how Sierra was killed.
The sound of approaching hoofbeat.
Now we have to hide from the bandits, which we do by just. I refuse to accept that they didn't see us there.
Open sesame!
Wow, it's as easy as that, eh? And he scoots away. Versus.
Told you didn't leave your keys back there.
I fucking tell you, it was either there or the other place. Like, well, then fucking check the other place then. The fuck? He'll just turn the corner going like, they were in me fucking pocket. They were in me pocket this entire fucking time.
Life-giving water.
Yes.
Nectar of the gods. Graham can now feel strength and renewal flowing through him.
I hope you like the phrase nectar of the gods, because you're going to hear that a lot in the future. I'm going to describe everything I have now as nectar of the gods. Pink lemonade. Nectar of the gods. A punch to the kidneys. Nectar of the gods.
You can feel the strength running through him as he pissed blood.
A car crash happening in slow motion. Nectar of the gods. So now that we have seen the bandits, we are now going to try and find their camp to see what's happening in that temple. Of course, our powers of observation has told us we can't just simply walk in. We need to do a very ancient and completely obscure ritual called opening the door. Not for everybody, but we're hoping that it'll catch on at some point.
That's true. But in order to open said door, to open an door, we need another item to get in, as was also seen. Oh.
Also, dead person.
Let's rob him.
Well, that's exactly what we're doing. Well, once we get to him, we will. I promise.
Uneasily, Graham reaches down and removes the old shoe from the desert sand.
I mean, we're not going to, send help to his family or something like that,
How the fuck we identify this guy? In any case, all we need is one old shoe to help save our lives.
Yes, exactly. That is literally the item that's going to save the world.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone could have easily missed it.
Yes, it's quite weird in that despite the fact this being not only their first point and click, but also their first VGA higher definition-ish game, Sierra didn't drop their pixel hunt tactics.
No.
Which backfired massively because with higher definition stuff, with pixel hunt, they didn't realize that if you didn't know exactly what you were looking for and where, you rarely even had a way of seeing it.
Yeah.
So
it's very evident in paths. Like if you are, if you think there's a path to the south,
water.
It's fairly obvious. Sometimes it might be a path to the east, you just can't see because it's obscured by the clouds. But they still programmed it in, presuming that you'll just try east at some point in your life.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's just a general Sierra problem. I couldn't blame that on the VGA. Like, yes, more walking through sand, sweet, delicious sand. Now, we should note at this stage that a lot of the games once this was brought out were remade on VGA. A lot of them we played already, so we're not going to be doing VGA remakes on SierraQuest because we literally do not have our entire lives left to play these Sierra games. We're making good progress as it is. Let's keep to that.
It should also be pointed out that old shoe, we weren't joking, that old shoe is a very, very game essential item. And that's really easy to fucking miss.
Mm-hmm.
And if we miss that, like, you can't complete the game. We are going to die, but we are going to die, like, as you'll see, like 2/3 of the way into the fucking game because we don't have that fucking shoe.
Exactly, yeah. It is, I believe it's commonly known as dead man walking syndrome.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, you find out about the desert temple, but you don't find out about the fucking dead guy with his shoe. So
no one ever thinks about the dead guy, man. That's the trouble. That's why he died. He didn't die of thirst, he died of irrelevancy.
Mm-hmm.
And now, the bop that is the bandits camp. God, just literally just passed out drunk. I love it. Like, I'm fucking...
Ah, yeah, there's
A large
plenty of
clay
death scenes
jar
here.
full of water stands by the campfire.
But look at those lovely decorated horses. Again, this is also a little bit of a cheeky thing to do as well. There is a water point here, which is the jar.
Ah, life-giving water. Nectar of the gods.
Now, the graphics
Graham
was
can
telling you
now
that that is
feel
just a
strength
snake
and
sleeping in a
renewal
jar.
flowing through
Like,
him.
there's no way of knowing that that is like a ladle. Can I just point out, by the way, he must be a really quiet drinker if the guy on the floor and in the tent can't hear him. Just going, ah, delicious. Nectar of the gods. And now, stealth gameplay.
Taking care to be very quiet, Graham reaches out and takes the staff into his possession.
I've also, I love his commitment to the role. He spoke slightly
Thanks
quieter.
again for all your help.
Who are you? A spy!
That wasn't a very
Definitely
smart move
not
for
a
Graham to
racist
make.
stereotype. I promise.
Who are you? A spy!
Well,
That wasn't a very...
that wasn't a very wise thing to do, Graham. You should never get stabbed in the chest. That's really bad for you, you know. I'm Wilfred Brimley. At least it's a bit of fun, isn't it? I'm just gonna have that fucking Todd Cantwell clip just linked up to that. Then just have him dancing to that.
Indeed, yeah. Oh, in case anybody's wondering, like that, there was a load of backstory and other stuff there to explore. No, literally everything else around that camp gets you murdered.
Yes.
They're distracted by the belly dancer. If you go close to the tent, you get murdered. In fact, actually, funnily enough, if you get to that camp without having first found the desert temple, there will be nobody there.
Yes.
But if you walk in, you'll be murdered.
Yes.
So you're gonna have to try very hard to stay alive.
So in essence, you still have to do things in a certain order, like in most Sierra games. Like there's still subject to certain things happening that it expects you to do first. It's like there's no way of knowing.
Yeah, there's no way of knowing. Like you'll kind of get a bit criticized for using a guide on this, but there's lots of stuff in this game where it's like, no, without a guide, you're not going to know. Like lots of puzzle, lots of the instant deaths, by the way.
Yeah.
It's all like, no, there's no way of finding out that this is going to kill you when you do it. You just have to do it, and then hopefully you're safe. Hopefully you save. So you literally have to save before you do fucking anything, like, you know.